Hey y'all, Monk Joseph here with the Broken Buddha. Today we're going to bring the S.O.S series not necessarily to a conclusion, but to a bridging. I know it says last episode, but allow me to explain. If you're watching this for the first time, there's a series on this channel called Survivors of Schizophrenics that deals with the things that I understand about people that I understand as schizophrenic, and I'm going to explain why I said it like that right now. So the reason why we're ending this is because it's going to transform into survivors of sociopathy, right? And the reason why is it's actually for personal reasons. I've never been able to get my parents to have a long enough conversation or be honest enough to say if they were blacked out or hallucinating when they were in psychoses and seemingly changing, like being different people, because sometimes they'll just click and switch. And then if you ask them about something from the other, you know, seemingly different personality, they'll. I'm not saying they have DID. I'm saying that they could have just been like a heightened blacked out or read it out psychosis, but I'll never know. So because I never know, and I know that I come from a family that's that unstable as the other people who watch this stuff, you got to be really, really careful with what you know. So what I know is that sociopathy is the issue that I can pinpoint, see, and understand, and that's what we're going to start processing in S.O.S. So what is sociopathy? Sociopathy is, you've ever heard of a sociopath? That's what sociopathy is. And just to clarify really quick, there's a sociopathy and psychopathy, right? Sociopathy, yeah. Sorry, make sure I said them right. Sociopaths typically will react out of an explosive emotional reaction, and then do a lot of like lying and weird, tricky stuff, manipulative stuff to cover it up afterwards. And it's not always like they're not always going to explode. Sometimes they'll just say something because they were so uncomfortable with the situation, and they say something extremely inappropriate, and then they'll gaslight you for it or just tell you it didn't happen and just flat out lie. And definitively, a psychopath is somebody who will plan a perceivable heinous act, like has the ability to plan for that type of what society perceives as bad behavior. I don't know how else to describe it. I'm trying to be nice because they are people. I see us all as the same, reacting differently to similar stuff. All right, so that's what we're going to talk about from now on in S.O.S. And getting right into it, I don't know if I don't know if my parents, and this is also, so you can apply this to whoever in your family or friend or partner, or somebody who you're concerned it was, completely delusional and just you weren't aware until like it's too late and they're gone, you're scarred, and there's nothing you can do. So, like I said, understanding the sociopathy, they're not going to be honest about hallucinating because they, in their mind, and I've met a lot of schizophrenics who have talked to me about these things, and they believe that like the white vans will come and get them like right away if they tell somebody. They don't understand the realities of mental health, most of them, because they stay out of it because they're terrified for people to find out that they're experiencing these hallucinations, visual, auditory, or blacking in and out of different personalities. So, and it's not even just, it doesn't even have to be that close of a situation. Right now, I'm dealing with, at work, it seems like my district manager and general manager are like competing to see who can be the most sociopathic. I'm honestly fascinated just watching it because I have my bases covered for everything for when it goes south. I know I got more bases covered than they do, so I'm not worried about it. But these things take hold everywhere, and at this time in society, it is sociopathy is actually being praised. If you can do something to get what you want because you just felt like it doesn't matter what you have to do afterwards to make it okay. Because people, I hear this saying that is very sociopathic running around. It's easier to beg for forgiveness than ask for permission. The problem with that is anyone who says that would never ask for permission or beg for forgiveness. They're making it. I've never met anybody like they're making it very clear that they're unapologetic people, but they use that saying to help themselves sleep at night. So that's it. I just wanted to really touch on with you guys. I know that it was helping some people, and again, I am going to continue it, but we're going to talk about sociopathy. And real quick, because I know I jumped off the topic there. Yeah, there's been like the sociopathy is interesting because those people are in society and they have to be able to put on a show to pretend they care, and they can. But when it comes to their personal lives, and I mean, this is the really scary stuff in my opinion. This is why I have a hard time drawing that line between schizophrenia and sociopathy, but if you don't know if they're hallucinating, you can't answer that question. So again, you got to eliminate it. It's not healthy to say you know this, but just seeing them go in and out, like they'll say things to me like, I saw this happen to someone else's kid. Please tell me if I did it because I would never do that to you. And then like a week later, they're doing something like 10 times worse. And then a week later, something worse than that. And they just keep going and going and going. But they'll still do that. Like, yeah, like it reminds me, like, it's almost like, from my experience, like they have to say everything to feel right. So like when I got thrown out of my house because we caught my stepdad being a professional con man, my mom first came to me and was like, I need you to help me pay bills so I can leave him. And then 2 weeks later was like, we think it'd be best if you left. So, and it's, you really got to take the pity out of your ears and not let yourself see the things that are upsetting you, because you're seeing a hypocritical mother who's supposed to be protecting her child, but you're really just, I don't know. You're an out of control child who never faced enough consequences is what it seems like to me. Again, I don't like to lock onto things I don't know. So what I know is there is an issue with inability to empathize, and integrity. So again, I'm just identifying it as sociopathy. So look, do your own research, look into it. DID and schizophrenia have been separated these days, and they have defined schizophrenia as having the visual and auditory hallucinations. Yeah, and beyond, I mean, sociopathy is, honestly, guys, it's really scary stuff because, and I've seen the worst of it. I mean, ugh, yeah, I've seen multiple people, and I'm not talking about gangsters or thugs, guys. I know I mentioned I'm from Baltimore, man. Like, no, those people do their time. I mean, they may try to get away with it, but it's not like they're not like mixing in trying to be something they're not. I'm not saying nobody does, but when they're on the street, they're on the street. They're not sitting there handing you flowers, all day and then going somewhere else themselves. I mean, like, again, some people probably do, but typically, everything's very forward and on the level and grounded when you're in the lower socioeconomic places of this country. So, and I'm not saying somebody's not gonna come and shake your hand and then do a thing, but that's just to get you to drop your guard. They're not getting to know you for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and putting on a show until it's that last second. And that's the stuff we're talking about. I mean, people who can legitimately just put on a show for somebody for an entire lifespan or part of an entire lifespan. And the only thing that I've been able to pinpoint on how they do it is, I don't know if it's intentional or not. I'd say no, because sociopaths don't plan well. They somehow keep everybody from talking to each other. Um, and I've met multiple people like that who they keep all their different friend groups compartmentalized, and they will not mix them like at all for any reason. And it is obvious that they are trying to avoid having people discuss what they know about the person, because it's just lies on lies on lies. All right, so there we have it. To conclude, survivors of schizophrenia is over. Survivors of sociopathy is in. And please understand, if you did come out of a family that you believe is schizophrenic or is diagnosed schizophrenic, even if it's from back in the day, if you don't know that they're having visual and auditory hallucinations as a fact, you should not allow yourself to know that. Just understand that they are sociopathic. They are not capable of empathy, right? And they're always going to lie when they think they've done something wrong. And they're always going to do what they think is going to make them look the best, too. So we're going to really try to identify this. In the next episode, we'll get a lot more into like the identifiers, which I was just stating. I'll try to get them like listed, and we'll get into that. But yeah, it really is scary stuff, man. And I think it's funny because I see a lot of people hiding things because they think it's like fun or funny or exciting, and it's just a dangerous path. I mean, there's no reason to lie or hide stuff in this existence, especially in modern times. Like, it's all in your head. I mean, if you really think your reputation's that bad in your city, go to another city. Like, there's infinite cities in this country. So, all right, I mean, obviously they're not infinite, but you know what I mean. All right, so there you go. Yeah. So I do. If anybody has any questions, please leave them in the comments section. I am talking about this in real time as I've been going through it. So if you go all the way back to the child abuse awareness videos, that was me like within a couple years of realizing how sociopathic my parents are, potentially schizophrenic. But I again, you can't lock into that stuff, guys. It's unhealthy. You can't come from a family that blows everything out of proportion and dramatizes everything in their favor, and you just, when you come from a feeling like that, you can't allow yourself to ever inch towards that, because it's just, you know I'm not going to say it's second nature, but it's a seed, man, and you got to get that seed. Just stay away from it. All right, just stay away from it. Stay open to all possibilities unless you know that there's only one or a possibility, and just stick with the things you know, the things you can see right in front of your face. Because when you start connecting dots that aren't there, I mean, that's that like dangerous slippery slope of, in my opinion, both sociopathy and schizophrenia, and eventually could, in my opinion, lead to DID. So, all right, so there you have it. Again, it'll probably be a while before I get the first video up. I got a lot of stuff to work on. I just really wanted to conclude this series with you guys and give the people who are watching this, who do have trauma in their lives, to just give that little piece of advice. You know, don't hold on to things you connected without knowing, and it's just not healthy. You're going to end up just like them if you do that, and I hope you understand that. All right, because that's the real adamacy of this video. So thanks for stopping by. Peace and blessings.